Hey, do you uh, perceive God's revelation very often? Do you walk in his power very much? How would you grow in those things if you wanted to grow in discerning his revelation, if you wanted to grow in the power of God? Well, I believe the key factor is the love of God. But when you hear me say that, when you hear me say the love of God, does that evoke kind of a malaise? Does it sound too conceptual? Does it sound trite? I want to remind you, it really isn't. The love of God is the currency of God's kingdom. God wants you to experience his love deeply and tangibly. Are you experiencing his love deeply? Not only that, he wants you to love yourself with that same kind of love. Remember, God so loved you, he so loved the world that he gave his son, the most precious and costly gift he could give. He loved you sacrificially so that he could dwell in your being and you could cry out with this familial love, Abba, Father, and that you could actually love yourself with the love of God. Do you love yourself with the love of God? Not only that, God wants you to also be able to love others with his love. It's kind of a re-loving. He wants you to experience his love and then to come into agreement with his love for you, with a release of that same kind of love, a re-loving with the Father's love for you. And he wants you to love others with a re-loving of the Father's love for you to others. Well, I don't want to make this a long teaching. I want to make it short. But if you want to grow in revelation, if you want to grow in power, if you want to grow in intimacy with God, it's going to require that you intentionally and spontaneously receive his love for you and re-love yourself, agree with God's perspective, agree with God's love, and re-love others. So if you haven't really experienced much of God's love for you, I want to encourage you, ask him for it. Ask him, say, Father, I want to receive the experience of your love. Ask him multiple times and then still yourself and do your best to kind of receive his care for you. It's real. It's not just a reprogramming of your mind. It's really, he does love you. And a father would love his child coming and asking to experience his love. So ask him and repeat that asking as necessary. Ask, be still, receive, and repeat as needed. That might be one of the most important things you do in your life. Second question, though, I want to ask is, if you love yourself, if you don't love yourself, or if you even wonder whether that's kind of suspect, that maybe that's a little too out there, that we're not supposed to give ourselves much attention, I would encourage you to, again, come and ask God and say, would you help me to understand your love for me? Because I would like to concretely and tangibly and powerfully agree with your love for me. Help me to align my love with your love for me. And as you ask him for that and you repeat that you want to understand and align your love with his love, he's going to do that. It's going to transform that you can even start to like yourself, that you can like being alone or still or silent, that you don't have to run from it anymore because you start to love and like yourself in agreement with God's love for you. If that's difficult, you ask him to help you understand it. And again, you repeat as necessary. I don't want you to settle for a loveless faith where you don't experience his love, nor are you loving yourself. That is part of what salvation is, what sozo, what wholeness, the whole love of God is like for you. How about your love for others? Do you find yourself too wrapped up in your life trying to keep up with just what you need to do so that you're not able to meaningfully express love or to re-love others with the love God has for you? Well, what do you do then? Well, I would suggest that you simply say, God, would you open opportunities for me to love others with your love. Those opportunities might already be there and you're not noticing. You say, Father, open opportunities, because not only do I want to experience your love, I want to re-love others with the love that you give me. And if you look for those opportunities, you're going to see that he will open them and he'll give you a chance to tangibly express that love. And that's where the miracles of God actually are released. So I want to encourage you today. How loving are you of others? Would they say, would your family, friends, would they say you're loving others? If not, say, Lord, help me open opportunities so that I can see them. How good are you at liking and loving yourself in agreement with God's perspective of you? If that's difficult, say, Lord, help me align with your perspective. I want to love me in alignment with your love for me. And lastly, how much have you lately been experiencing intimacy with God, his love? Abba, Father, let your love land on me. If you're not, ask him. Include that in part of your habitual, not habitual as much as consistent approach to God. I want to receive God's love every day, if not multiple times a day. I want to actually agree with his love for me and overflow in that love for others. So I want to encourage you. The best way to unleash the love of God is to receive the love of God and re-love yourself with that same love and re-love others with that same love. As I have loved you, so love others, Jesus said. Go in the love of God. Release it in the authority of Jesus. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.